Well, it's only a couple weeks before Christmas, and I stopped at the flea market, and the guy I've bought tools off of, most of his stuff's packed away and he's got all Christmas stuff out, but he had one little section on the table there where he had some tools, and lo and behold, he had a whole bunch of stuff there that all came from the same estate guy. I guess, I don't know if he knew the guy or what the story was, but he had these machinist tools. So first thing I spotted was this nice Starrett tap handle. I didn't pay. I got a package deal. He had $10 on this, but it's in good shape. He had $5 on this pair of 1, 2, 3 blocks. These are they're marked F. Monroe. That's just about everything was marked F. Monroe. That wasn't, factory made. So I haven't checked them yet. They got some dings on them and everything, but I mean $5 for a pair. This set of parallels right here. They look like they've been ground. Decent shape. $5 for this pair. I think these are also FGM, so F.G. Monroe. Same gentleman. $5 for the pair there. And then he had 2 sine bars, both marked FGM. Well, this one's marked F. Monroe, and this one he had less room, so FGM. 2 sine bars. And he had $5 a piece on these homemade sine bars.
So, 5, 10, 15, 20, $30, and
since I was doing a package deal, he gave me that for $20. Tap handle, I'm sure I'll eventually use. Same thing with these parallels, maybe even the 1, 2, 3 blocks. The sine bars, well, I've got to learn how to use them. So a few weeks ago, I'm at the flea market and I'm walking around, and I go by this booth, and the guy's got some PC stuff there, and he's got a E-Machines widescreen LCD monitor, and it's I forget what size it is, but it's not a huge one, and it's a decent sized one, and it's in black, and it's in looks like it was in excellent condition, and he plugged it in for me and didn't have a PC to hook it up to, but it was given the old test signal pattern there, and it seemed like everything was fine with that. And I asked him what he needed to get for it, and we haggled, and he settled on $10. So I was happy because my large monitor that's on my main desktop in my office has started to act up recently, and I haven't had a chance to mess around with it and bother seeing what's going on with it. So I just grabbed this monitor for $10 and worked out great. And then as I happened to be looking around at the other junk he had there, I saw buried under a whole bunch of stuff, kind of like in his way practically, I spotted this little 3-drawer plastic unit right here, and I kind of started looking in it, and I noticed he was using it for storage. He even had some stuff in there, some rolls of duct tape and stuff, and I was actually interested in the rollaway, and I also noticed the drawers were sticking kind of badly, and he had explained to me that this actually came out of his kids' room, and that they had been routinely spilling soft drinks on it and not cleaning it, so it's got some sticky residue on the slides where the drawers should slide in and out, so I'm going to have to clean it up. But since it was just a plastic thing to begin with, and since it was such a mess, I got it for $1. So for $1, it's worth it for me to clean it up and just throw it down here in the shop and put some stuff in it that's not too heavy. So not all the deals that I end up getting are for tools. And this is an example here where on Craigslist, about 3 weeks ago, popped up not 1 but 2 CRF-80 Honda motorcycles, and I had been looking for a CRF-80 Honda because I want to teach my 10-year-old how to drive with a manual clutch. He's driving a CRF-70, which is got an automatic clutch, and it's only 3 speeds, whereas the CRF-80 gets you into the more traditional 1 down 4 up shift pattern with the manual clutch. It's a whole nother animal, whole nother level of riding, so to speak. Anyways, these popped up on Craigslist, no photographs. Description said that they were in mint condition. So I drive down into Rhode Island, about a 40-minute drive, get down to this guy's house, and as soon as I pull up, there's one out in the front yard chained up to a minivan so nobody will steal it. And I could see before I even get out, it's far from mint. And I'm thinking to myself, well, hopefully that's the rougher of the two. So I get there and I meet the guy, and he wheels out the second one. And the second one, there's a young man there who, I say young man, he was probably 18, 20-year-old, who admitted that he had just recently tried driving it down the sidewalk and ran it into a telephone pole, and the front rim was bent and the front forks were bent over back like that. So I started the engines on both of them. They sounded like kind of like a blender that you would toss some coins into. There was a lot of noise coming. Either I think it was a combination of piston slap and noisy valve train and the overhead cam on those bikes. So neither one of them would run with the choke fully off really well. They didn't have good accelerator response. I'm looking at carburetor problems, valve adjustment minimum, possible ring job or worse. Front end was messed up. They had bought some cheap aftermarket Chinese front end that they had in the box, new in the box, and they said, oh, easy enough to put on. I said, yeah, I know, I've done one before. I did one on my son's CRF50. As a matter of fact, I think there's an old video of that on my page somewhere. But anyways, bikes were a wash. He wanted $750 a piece or $1,400 for the pair. He also said that he had a third bike. He said it was a parts bike. So I had him bring me out back and show me what the parts bike was. The parts bike wasn't even a Honda. It wasn't even an 80. It was a 70 or a 50 cc Chinese knockoff, complete piece of junk that was missing parts. Somebody had taken the shifter shaft out so the crankcase had no oil in it, and it was just sitting out there in the back. It was just a piece of scrap. So turns out this guy, what he does is he cleans out houses for banks, foreclosures. He goes and he's supposed to clean up these houses, and lots of times people just leave stuff behind. So he had a garage full of all kinds of stuff, and I happened to spot this kayak, and I wasn't really aggressively pursuing the purchase of a kayak, but I spotted this kayak. It was a Pelican something, I forgot who made it, but it's a Pelican on the side. And you know, I've got a cheap kayak from my oldest son we bought from Ocean State Job Lot, and that kayak, cheap thermoplastic job, was like $200. So I know kayaks aren't really dirt cheap. And I happened to look at this one, and it was plastic, but it actually had the little trunk or the little lid that you could flip open for storage, and it had a cushion seat that was adjustable, and it had up underneath it had adjustable foot rests, which are the marks of a slightly better quality kayak. So I said, well, what are you going to get for the kayak? He says, I got to get $75 for it. Now, probably was worth that all day long, but he didn't have a paddle for it, and I said, I don't know. I said, I'll give you $50 for it. He says, He says, now, I gotta at least get $60. Now, he had already tried to interest me in a Craftsman 2-stroke handheld leaf blower that he said would sputter a little bit, but he couldn't get it to stay running. I passed on that because I don't really care for the Craftsman yard products anyways. And so then I'm thinking, okay, how can I make this worth my while? So I spotted this guitar amplifier. He had no idea if it worked. I spotted this scooter. He said, he said the motor ran, but he said it doesn't move. I took a look at it and realized, well, there's a ribbed rubber drive belt that's supposed to be on here that's gone. So we bought a scooter like this for one of my other sons, and his complaint was that it was too slow. Apparently they make different models that have different speeds. So I thought, well, I don't know, but maybe this is a faster one. Might be worth looking into. So no charger for it, broken belt. Gotta get it for next to nothing, right? So the deal was, I gave him the 60 bucks for the kayak, the broken scooter, the questionable guitar amplifier, the Craftsman leaf blower, which I'll have to show you some other time because that's outside storage. This hammer was hanging up on a nail, a couple of nails in the garage, and I spotted it and said, "Ah, another dead blow, soft, non-marring mallet type hammer." This is a Williams 200 made in the USA. It's actually a nice hammer. So I gotta throw that in. So that's the tool section of this buy. Alright, let's do a quick evaluation of this little guitar amplifier and see what we got here. Name on this is Crate. Now, years ago, back in the day, this was actually a name brand, pretty well known. And now, I don't think that they're considered anywhere near a high-end product anymore. And even if they are, they would probably be subcontracting out the sale of these little practice amplifiers like this one here. It's got the controls, it's got a boost and gain overdrive section, it's got a clean volume control, and then it's got a bass, mid, and treble EQ, 3-knob EQ. It's got an insert input, it's got a headphones jack, power on LED, power switch, and of course your single input. So it's just a little practice amp, nothing that special. Something like this probably sells new for somewhere around, I don't know, 70 or 80 bucks maybe even less. But let's see what happens here. I got it plugged in, so I'm going to turn it on, and I figure one of several things could happen. It could just be completely dead and not even give me an LED. It might power on but not make any noise. It might power on and start smoking. Or it might power on and make some kind of horrible noise. So let's see. I'm going to keep the volume control turned all the way down. Start. That's a real good sign. A little audible pop when you power it on, and the speaker is normal. And no signs of horrible noises or smoke. Volume. I can just hear a little bit of static. This appears to be a working amplifier. Now when I touch the end here, I should get a hum. Alright. I don't have a guitar down here to plug into this, but I would say that this more than likely is a working amplifier. So maybe I'll let one of the boys play around with it. We've got a couple of cheap electric guitars around.